Yeah, we're excited to get back to work after a open week, and excited to see our kids this afternoon and get the week started off right, preparing to go to Baton Rouge to play a very difficult opponent. I think their offense is the most explosive that I've seen in a long, long time. I wasn't coaching when they had their run with Joe Burrow and them, but this quarterback, if he's not in the Heisman discussion, there's a problem. But he's playing at an incredibly high level with dynamic receivers, and there's not a weakness on that offense, and it's impressive to watch. And so it's going to be a great challenge for our kids and a great college environment, and I'm excited as heck about it, and I know our kids will be. Hopefully, I hadn't seen them yet, but and hopefully we can get healthy and go to Baton Rouge and find a way to compete against a really, really, really good football program.
Yeah, Coach, you're talking about health. You mentioned the other day you hoped that Damari would be back. Talk about the guys that are banged up and who looks like they could be back.
Yeah, it doesn't. Of course, Keys and Keontae and are still out for the foreseeable future. Messiah, unfortunately, is done for the year, which is a blow to us defensively for sure. Jalen Simpson, I think, will go. He's day to day. He said he's feeling better each day, so I'm hopeful and expecting that he will go. Doubtful on Damari, and Malcolm Johnson is a day to day guy too. So of the guys we have remaining, that's kind of and Var's questionable also, but he's having an issue with his elbow that just can't get straight. So. That's where we are. It's next man up, and we got to get to some of these younger kids to play more consistently. We worked on that hard last week in the open week, and they got a ton of reps. And because we're going to need them before this season's over with the remaining 7 games we have.
Coach, with the bye week so close to midseason, what kind of things did you guys assess offensively, and did you focus more on just executing what you've done better, or are you looking at a philosophy change on offense?
No philosophy change, other than maybe making sure we're running the right RPOs with the runs and doing more of that. Well, you do all the self-scouting to find out what your tendencies are, and to make sure you have those posted when you're game planning this week. If all we've done when we've motioned the tight end across the ball is XYZ, then you probably don't need to do XYZ this week. And so we did all that self-scouting, and then obviously trying to make sure our identity, particularly in the passing game, matches our personnel. And whatever we feel strongly about in that, then let's do it over and over and over and over and over again until we are really, really confident and really, really good at that. So that was pretty much the focus offensively, and defensively it was. So if you go to the Georgia game, we really hadn't talked since after the Georgia game, I guess. But if you go to that Georgia game, there literally are 10 plays that made a difference in that game, or we easily could have found ourselves on the other side of that outcome. And in those 10 plays, I think 6 of them are on us coaches. And 4 of them, our kids should have. Obviously, there's more than 10 that didn't go exactly right. But you can take 10 plays in critical situations where if we don't get a protection set right, that's our fault. And that's not easy for me to say, nor to take, nor to live with. But we've got to get that fixed. And but then there's things that our kids could have done differently too. Now forget, we had 2 balls in our hands inside the 5-yard line on 2 passes. If we can just make one of those plays, and so I'm not counting those as the 10. I'm talking about 10 fundamental things that we could have done differently offensively or defensively in a critical situation. And if we execute that properly, they make a direct impact on that game because they were all in the critical downs and critical moments. And that's encouraging that we played a team of that caliber close, and we want to build upon the good things because there were a lot of good things. But the margin of error for us winning and losing right now is so small against teams that probably have a better roster in some spots that we can't afford those. And we have to look at everybody, coaches, players. Why are we not getting that executed? And if we can't do it personnel-wise, then get it out of the plan. If we can do it, but we're not doing it right, then we got to coach it better. And so that's what the whole week was about, is how do I not go to bed after a game feeling that way?
Hey, a question about Peyton specifically. I know you were much happier with the way he played against Georgia. Was that like an aha moment for him? Do you think he can kind of build forward from there?
We're trying hard to build upon it. I thought he made some really good throws. And look, when you're playing in this league, maybe LSU, but even them, the DBs are in position. You don't find very many where you're just running wide open. You'll have a few of those in blown coverages from time to time, but there's going to be some contested catches. And there were, I think he had 9 incompletions, and I literally think 6 of them could have gone either way. And I'm certainly not saying that they were just total drops or anything like that, but they're chances for us to make plays that, again, put us in position to get points or convert the chains and keep our defense off the field. And we're going to have to start making our share of those. And so the balls, though, were in the right spot. I mean, some of them were really good throws. And so I do think there's something that you can build upon there. Never mind. I don't belabor the point. I'm trying to get over that. I'm trying to put it in the past, and you keep bringing it up. But, I mean, I wish you could see the film. But you got Rivaldo running wide open for a touchdown if we just set the protection right. And, heck no, it wasn't on Peyton. That one was not on Peyton. That one's on us. And that's what's hard to take. Peyton would have got it right if we had him in the right toolbox. We got to give him his tools. And that better get fixed.
You mentioned young guys. Any of those young guys at wide receiver that you think are ready to maybe get more of a shot, maybe help out more as you come out of a bye week?
They all have a shot, but you got to produce. And I know that one of the things we do during the open week is we call all of our parents. I think that's a great practice to do, and and you have to be prepared. You're hearing the good and the bad, but I think that's healthy, and I think that's good, and they know we care. And but any of those discussions that turn that way is usually around obviously playing time, and it's just part of you just keep competing. But at some point we have to have production at whatever position it is, and I'm excited to see our kids compete this week and see some guys hopefully make some plays.
Hugh, you were talking about self-scouting and evaluating during the off week. What was the thing you probably learned the most about your team through that process in the off week?
Well, I'm probably not going to go into that. There were some definite tendencies for sure in 5 weeks of playing that, certain motions or certain sets, where the ball is being run in those sets. Is it heavy to the tight end, away from the tight end? Those type things you're always looking at. And then defensively, are we too high of a tendency on, certain coverages on third down in particular where somebody can have a great plan for you. That's probably the most thing you look at defensively, because every week your defensive plan is so different based on what you're seeing. But third downs, we usually are creatures of habit. And our third down is short offensively, had to have attention put to it.
With Messiah going down, how important is Keldrick going to be over the next
Vital.
7?
He and Walker are going to have to, just, share more snaps. And, I think when you, again, looking back, you see, our kids are playing so hard. And that makes me proud of them. But, Marcus Harris, he just played his guts out. But he's having to play too many snaps. And you look at dang Georgia over there, and every dang time we sub, there's another 6 of them that come in. And it shows in the fourth quarter. And it truly hurt us when Jalen Simpson went out in the fourth quarter. To that point, I believe I'm right in saying Bowers had 2 or 3 catches. And, when Jalen went out and we lost our best bracket guy, it hurt us. And so that's where we've got to continue to create depth through the current young kids we have, and obviously through recruiting. But we just don't. Marcus and some of those guys are having to play just too many snaps. And losing Messiah certainly doesn't help with that, because now we've got to we need one of these young kids are going to have to give us some snaps, Bobby, D. Reed, some of those guys, somebody's got to give us some help in there.
You mentioned calling all the players' parents over the bye week. Just kind of roughly midway through this first season in a new job, kind of what feedback did you get from that, and as you are, at this new program?
Yeah, let me make sure I clarify. It would be impossible for me to personally call all of them. So the position coach and that staff, their assignment was call everyone and then get me the ones I need to touch base with. And so the feedback was they love our Monday meetings. They love the teaching series that I do. They love the energy that they feel, that their kids feel. They feel like they're cared for. So I thought all of that was extremely positive. And obviously they want to see their kid get their share of playing time, and I think that's a process in this world, and it's one that I think we need to keep sight of in the changing of times, even though everybody would like to have theirs right now, and it just doesn't work that way typically for most, and that's a lesson for life that I think will prepare them more for life than if they had it their way every single time and it was easy. That life's not easy, and neither is earning your time to play at this level of football. It's not easy, and it shouldn't be easy. It takes you embracing the grind and going to work and enjoying the process of becoming. And I sure hope we can do a good job of getting our kids to believe that, so that they're not always in this world looking for greener pastures and an easier way. And I think that sets you up for failure in life.
Far right, Philip. Speaking of Jalen Simpson, could you just talk about what he has meant to your defense? And when he went out, there was obviously some wide open passes to Bowers. Kind of how him being out of the game.
Yeah, he and Keontae, were the leaders of getting everybody on the right page back there, and obviously not only on the right page, but those two can cover, and and have played really at a high level. And obviously losing Keontae was tough, and then him going out in the fourth quarter was very, very difficult for us also. And he has been an energy leader, fun for me to be around on the sideline, always cutting up with me. in practice, he's been a joy to coach, truthfully, and has played really well.
You mentioned in your open about Jaden Daniels and just how good he is for LSU. Through 6 weeks, he's almost got 2,000 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions. And you've also talked about how your defense has to be set up properly to stop a guy like that. So what's the game plan this weekend for somebody who is so talented and who can beat you in pretty much any way he wants?
Yeah, I don't, obviously we're not going to talk about game plan, but I don't think you stop him. There's too many weapons around him, and he's too good. I think you look at the key to this game is, can we hold him to field goals? Truthfully, no one has stopped him, and he plays so effortless. Literally, he runs 40-yard touchdowns and it looks like he's jogging, and yet no one's catching him. And his balls are so accurate to those talented receivers. I think it's a hard task. Again, I think to this point, and I haven't watched future opponents, so somebody will use it for bulletin board material, but it's to this point, it's the best offensive personnel I've seen in this league to this point.
Sorry. Hey, Coach, with the idea of getting players to take what they do in practice, their efficiency and productivity, what's the key to building that confidence to get it on the field? Obviously, I know you've been working on that, but what's been your philosophy on making sure that transition, when you see it happen day in and day out in practice?
Positive reinforcement is good. Also, their ability to handle the truth from a coach without it becoming, in their mind, something that's personal. Hear what I say, maybe not how I say it sometimes. I don't rant and rave, but I can get pretty passionate in my direction on things sometimes, and so can other coaches, I'm sure. But just hear the message, and but at the same time, that message should also be heard if things were done correctly. And that's a balancing act, and not the easiest thing for coaches, probably not the easiest things for parents. We're really good at don't, why, and not, man, way to go. You did great. You made me proud. And so I think that's a balancing act there, but nothing builds confidence as much as having success on a Saturday.
Hey, Coach, with you headed to Baton Rouge this Saturday, I know you've coached there a handful of times when you're at Ole Miss. What makes Tiger Stadium unique, and what makes it such a difficult atmosphere to play in?
Great place to play. SEC environment. Obviously, their fans are into it. Saturday night there. I love hearing calling Baton Rouge from Garth Brooks before the game. I think that's a neat experience, and I try to stay out there to hear that. And I like hearing the announcer say, 15 minutes, the sun will set in the western sky, and it will be Saturday night in Baton Rouge. And, man, we get to go represent Auburn in that environment. And it's a tough place to play, but so is Jordan-Hare, and so are many others. And that's, again, why you come to this. And a quick story, Johnny Vaught, who I have great respect for, before he passed, said to me, he was laying in his bed, and I went to visit him, and he says, Coach, just so you know, you have never truly been the head coach at the University of Mississippi until you beat them Bayou Bengals in Baton Rouge and stood on the bleachers and let their fans know it. And so I know what it meant to a lot of coaches to go play there, and he might have said it a little differently than I just said it right then, but it was that this is a special place to play for many coaches that have experienced it there.
Coach, following up on the environment in Death Valley, you're no stranger to playing there. Are you guys doing anything special in practice to prepare for the noise that the players are going to encounter and getting calls in such a raucous environment?
Yeah, I heard this was a new thing, but it's actually not. We will have it as loud as we can get it on the practice field, and it'll be playing "Hold That Tiger," down, down, whatever the fight song is, and we will have a couple of different plans for cadence, just in case. I do remember having a fist fight with them down there when I was at Ole Miss, and it was a it was a Saturday night game, and obviously very loud, and we were backed up into the student section in a critical drive, and we had 3 false starts. It was so loud, and so we will have a couple of different plans if that's the case.
You talked about identity. You guys were able to run the football against Georgia, and running backs had a good day against Texas A&M. How much of an identity build has that been for this team, especially the last 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, I feel like we can do that fairly well. I don't know where we stand and all that, but we're pretty efficient. But I do think you have to be balanced to win big games, and that has been the challenge for us to this point. But there's no question, I feel like running the football helps. We've got to shorten this game now. This is the last 2 opponents that have played them. Ole Miss decided to we're going to outscore them, and Missouri's, that was their philosophy also. I didn't talk to Lane, but I talked to Eli. But it was obvious that Ole Miss felt like they could do that, and Ole Miss did. Missouri was very close to doing that also, but I think their makeup is a little different offensively, and I'm not sure that that's the plan for us. We'll have to see.
I want to ask you about LSU's defense. They've been in a lot of shootouts this year, but obviously got really good talent on that side of the ball with Perkins and other guys. What stands out to you about that unit as you guys get ready for them?
Yeah, 0, 18, and 4 are freakish players. 5-star talents, and they may not be as deep as a normal LSU defense has been in the past, but they've still got tremendous athletes over there. And for whatever reason, they've been searching a little too the last couple of weeks, but that makes it a little harder on us, truthfully, because it's been 2 totally different plans against similar offenses. Ole Miss's and Missouri's offenses, Ole Miss may go faster and do a few more things, but they're still in similar sets, and it's 2 totally different plans in those 2 games, and so that's a bit of a guessing game for us on that. But they've got athletes over there for sure. Thank you.